Hello and welcome to the Kitbash, everyone. Here I'm going to examine various model kits and see how they stack up against the more recent kits in that line, and how accurate they are compared to the original unit if they have an anime or other sort of media. Not exactly complicated, but it should get the job done. With the recent release of Pacific Rim Uprising, the license to make toys and merch swapped from NECA to Bandai, which means that we got a Tamashii Nation's Robot Spirits line, which the Pac Rim Jaegers really deserved. This also meant that we got Pacific Rim Gunpla, Pac-Pla, Rimpla. We got Plamo out of them. So now we have to see how it stacks up against its peers, using the RX-78-2 Gundam HG UC-191 as our baseline. But first, let's check in with where this mecha came from. To quote the official description, Gipsy Avenger honors the heroic legacy of her namesake as the flagship leader of the Mark VI fleet. More than just a Jaeger, she is a symbol of hope to millions. The original Gipsy Danger was part of the last-ditch effort to stop the kaiju, and as such was venerated after its destruction. This machine was built as the top-of-the-line model of the Mark VIs and features all the kit the original Danger had, including a chainsword, not that kind of chainsword, a plasma caster, and an elbow rocket, which Mazinger fans know a much better name for. It also features a gravity sling that allows it to throw around fairly well anything, and its generator is listed as being able to power a major city. It is faster, more agile than the original Danger, and was designed to look a little bit more like a modern fighter jet than a big clunking robot. So let's kick to the live cam and see what we got. Oh, she's beauty, she's grace, she'll chop a kaiju in the face. Well, here she is. Alright, so what we have here is the HG Gipsy Avenger. Am I allowed to say that? Are we allowed to print that? Are we allowed to print this? Whatever. The G Avenger here. Sporting its plasma cannon. Sporting its chainsword. I've seen better. But not many. Both of which come right off. With some work. You just take that all apart there. I'm not a huge fan of this kit, I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, it looks good. It looks pretty much movie spot on, and that's important. You pop the backplate off, there's space for the LED to come through, and that's pretty rad. Sold separately, as they even say in the instruction manual. Getting the shell back on is a little bit of a bastard, though. And I know it's like several times larger than the Gundam, so it can't really be expected to have the same range of motion, but here's, you notice something on these thighs here, these big old thunder thighs? The Gundam proper can do some fun stuff. It like swivels up here at this joint. Gipsy can't do that. Miss Avenger is not available for the leg swivel, which is kind of a disappointment because it just kind of see, it only pivots at this joint here, which is lovingly detailed and mostly movie accurate. Again, the movie's not out on home video yet, so I can't speak to its truth much as I would like, because I want to see that movie again, because I enjoyed it. Here's the thing, though, like, Bandai getting the license to do these model kits helped immensely. I'm not really super up on the design. How can I put this accurately? I'm not really up on the way. This is not a great HG. This is about on the same level as, say, the Alex. And the Alex was good for what it was in the time, but again, if I compare it to the Gundam that came out a couple years ago, then it's not that hype. The head doesn't turn at all.
it pivots. It gives the the oh really look, and they also go like that, but there's no range of motion there. The arms are a little limited by the shoulder plates. I'm flying, Jack. I'm flying. The knees. The knees are good. I actually like the knees. And like, there's great pivot work here in this middle joint here, and that's super cool and that's super rad. But like, all these good things together do not come together to make a kit that is, I would say, on par with the Gundam. Now, there are more bits and bobs to it, so oh well. So first of all, this is the joint. This is the part where you attach the alternate arm or the plasma caster arm. Ooh, a little hard to find though. This is the interior, so it goes a very certain way. Und precisely van way. And the gravity sling arm, which is the kind of the big feature or whatever for like throwing crap around, goes like this, but it's gone. Unfortunately, the way that they did these extra arms is in a way that makes them kind of fall apart pretty easily. And if there's one thing that I don't particularly want to keep having to when I'm futzing around with my toys like this, is put the damn things back together. See what I mean? There is a very good reason that I only keep this thing with the plasma caster on it, because I like the plasma caster for starters. It's got weird places where it bends, where it's not concerned enough with posability and perhaps too concerned with accuracy. Like, there are things that can be sacrificed in the name of movie accuracy, but given all the design work that went into G Avenger here, I can understand not wanting to leave any of that at the curb. Say what you will about even some of the more complex designs of the Gundam mobile suits, and there's more going on with G Danger and G Avenger here than there is the other, Gundam type suits. Like, there's more bits and bobs going on in the design that, if you drop them out, would make it look kind of chintzy. I understand why they went with what they went with, but there are certain design choices that I cannot abide by. And one of them is this. You see this little plug? That's for this very specific hobby base. Now, this allows G Danger to go and do the fancy fly in the sky poses. Whee! Unfortunately, it's at such a stupid angle that if you cant this thing right, what you end up with is G Avenger at a track meet instead of fighting kaiju. I'm doing the high jump, Ma. Look at me, aren't you proud? This unfortunately also makes it so you can't take this normal plug and, well, it doesn't work. It just doesn't take. So you need specialized equipment, quote unquote. This plug is similar to the ones that come in these other hobby bases. There are some really basic ones that are coming in some of the newer Gundam kits. Specifically, Wing Zero has its own. Build Strike Galaxy Cosmos has its own that they just come with, and they all come with this plug. And for Avenger not to have a spot for that, but instead have a spot for this other slightly older, kind of inferior one, is just a very peculiar design choice. This is about the extent of posability for the legs. This, combined with the fact that there aren't any kaiju, really, makes me think it would probably be best served in an action figure format instead of a model kit format. But as far as model kits are concerned, this one works out pretty well. It's a good, decent kit. It's not as good, really, as the new stuff that's coming out for the Gundam line, but I suppose when Gundam's their big money maker, Pacific Rim is just kind of an afterthought. Maybe G-Danger just needs to experience tranquility.
Well, I guess it stacks up fairly well to a GM. Honestly, what the most damning statement about this Jaeger design is that I called it G-Danger instead of Avenger several times in the live segment, and I didn't even catch that last one. It's a good little piece of work, but it's not up to standards when you put it against HG-UC recent releases. Unfortunately, I have my doubts that we'll be getting an actual G-Danger model kit, so this is about as good as it gets. The design choices of the Jaeger itself did make a substantial difference here, so it may be a little unfair to stack it against a Gundam, but at the same time, this is an HG release from 2018 in a line that does have significant cultural cash to it. While the kit in question is not a slouch by any means, it is also a little on the weak side compared to its Gundam counterparts. Worth noting that at time of production, there is an HG DX version that includes an LED and a display base intended for G Avenger here, so that one might be a little bit more to your liking. As it stands, this one is perfectly fine and is good enough when stacked up against the rest of the Pacific Rim Uprising model kits. However, against the rest of the HG-UC stuff, it falls a little flat, just like the cities it has to stomp through. And as always, thanks for watching.